Welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast. And today we're going to do something that people have been asking about like crazy. Today we're going to start talking more about the people in our programs. We're going to talk about why peace is so important in the home.
Stop trying to lead and make decisions all the time.
You should not be proud if you raised your voice and screamed at them.
No matter what.
No matter what. I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn. Why am I allowing him to do this in front of our children? Why am I allowing this to happen at all? You don't get to say whatever you want to a man and push him to the point where he snaps.
I might have been a really bad man the other day, but today I went out of my way to be a good man and she thanked me for it.
Is that you always want to act in the direction you want to go. So
He is just a paycheck. What about his needs?
we're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage.
And this is the first time we're doing it, really. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because a lot of people also ask, why is it just men in Cass's program? Why is it just women in Kathryn's program? We can cover a little bit of that today. We'll see how this goes. But she's done. And this is a real client story. Now, we're not going to use real names. We're going to call them Susie and George. Susie and George. Okay, Susie and George. George comes to Cass and says, I want to be in your program. And he's very upset. He does a lot of crying, a little more than most men. That's quite all right, guys. I have had my fair share of tears. There's no judgment there. What I'm trying to convey is he felt bad when he joined my program. He felt, like there was a lot of things that he could be doing differently. I think he saw a lot of my content. I think he did a lot of reflecting. He obviously had a lot of fights with his wife, and he was going to lose her. And so there was a lot of emotion, rightfully so. Okay. But I want to highlight that because he came into the program, and I'm very fucking clear when you join my program. I'm disrupting divorce, 30-year goal. That's what our mission is, Kathryn and me. So we're 2 years in. Do not fuck with my 30-year goal. By the time our children are old enough to get married, I want them to only know marriage is real. That's it. Don't fuck with my goal. I'll get mad. Okay.
You don't want to see him mad.
you don't want to see me mad. You guys are lucky I've done so much self-development. All right. So, I think it's just really important to understand he was ready, he was in, and I do know the struggles. We'll talk about some of those and why it can be such a challenge. His wife was not in the program. His wife, though, was very supportive. His wife even led him to me, which happens at times, and was super excited for him. So was really hoping for a lot. And later, she joined your program.
And by the way, before she joined my program, months before she joined my program, she did do a screening call with me. And on the call, she just could not see how doing my program would help when there were some hurdles that she really felt that her husband needed to overcome. So it's not that she didn't want to take responsibility, but she was like, I'm not sure yet. Mm-hmm. And she later joined out of desperation, and we'll talk a little bit.
I think out of desperation is a good way to put it, especially because I don't speak to women like hardly ever, and I did have a good 45-minute call with her at one point. I don't know, 6 months ago or something, probably around. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, in any case, I want to highlight a few things, guys. Number one, if you are in my program as a man, you should not need your wife to go into Kathryn's program. I'm not saying that you wouldn't. I'm not saying that you couldn't accelerate the process. I'm saying you should fucking lead. Okay. Now, she could have issues and other trauma. I don't know all about your trauma and all about your pains yet. It's not like Kathryn did no work, guys. I think sometimes this is downplayed because of my abuse towards Kathryn. But yeah, we've both done a shit ton of work. Okay. And so I'm not saying that Susie would have had to join, but I know this for a fact that George hasn't been pulling his weight, and he's been called out many times. He's been challenged to do the work. He's acknowledged. He's cried. He's been jumping for joy. He's been proud when things are working, and then he gets fucking lazy again. And I mean to the point where we're talking about smoking dope. He's done 3 different workouts in 4 months. Meaning like different programs, trying it out, and I think he's gained weight. You know what I mean? He's invested stupidly in a business without communicating with his wife, which that's like module 2, man. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, so there's important things to understand here. Now, she's done. We're going to get to that. And I really want you to stick around and wait for this because I think this is so important to understand. You know where I'm going with this yet?
Nope.
All right. Almost always, I don't care if you're man or woman. If you say you're going to start something and you don't, you are undermining the person that you say you want to be. That's it. Okay. By the time your partner is out, I mean, separation. I mean, go to the fucking couch. I mean, I'm getting a divorce. Oops. No, I'm not having an affair. Like, no, I don't need to know the rules. Of course I wouldn't want to hurt you. You know, like all of these things that you fucking hate. Okay. By the time that's happened, it's because you have not followed through on you. Okay.
On either side. Mm-hmm. He's not just directing this at men. This story just happens to be about a couple where the man is not showing up.
Correct.
It's the exact same thing. If you are a woman and you're not showing up, and we have a very unpopular opinion. He just mentioned cheating. We have a very unpopular opinion. If a man cheats, all of a sudden the man is this bad person. And yes, we don't justify cheating, but where was the disconnection? Where can that woman take responsibility? You were not showing up in your marriage. And it's not, you're never to blame, women or men, for your partner cheating.
Nope.
But there is responsibility to be taken. It's if your husband cheats, it's not just, oh, poor you. No, we're going to trace those steps back and figure out what was going on where the disconnect happened in the first place.
That's right.
Am I clear on that?
Yeah. In case they're new, anybody's new here today, I'm going to say what we talk about a lot with this because it is an unpopular opinion. Listen, we will address morals later if we have to. For men, you won't care about her taking responsibility when she's sitting next to you, sitting on your face, all that shit. Seriously, just let it go. Okay. But let's say that you do need to address morals. Guys, we can. But you're going to repeat the cycle, which is going to be worse with the next one. She's going to cheat on you also if you're doing the same things, okay? Because she didn't start cheating. If you're still with her after she cheated with you in the beginning, then you're a fucking idiot. You didn't have boundaries. You didn't know how to do what you're supposed to do. Now, more than likely, let's be honest, that did not happen. So you stayed with her, and it became progressively worse to when it became an affair. So get off your fucking high horse. And I'm going to say this will go both ways. Now, we can address the cheating problem too later, okay? Now, it doesn't matter if it's separation, cheating, kick each other, whatever, okay? All of it didn't happen day one, okay? Or else you needed to do something different, which means you have something to learn, okay? The biggest problem that we have where this progressive disrespect happens, we'll call all of that problem number 2, okay? The problem number 1 is the progressive disrespect that you don't like. Okay. The lack of attention towards each other's needs, the lack of care. Hey, how was your day? I don't care. I just tell her about mine as soon as she starts talking. Okay. All this stupid little shit that you can't stand. You feel like you're not getting. All of that is problem number 1. Okay. And your role is to take care of your side of the street in problem number 1. Right. No matter what, no matter how they speak to you, who the fuck do you want to be when you speak? That's it. Okay. Now, assuming you're doing all that right. Okay. You actually have to move forward. So this gentleman, George, is doing a lot of it right. But you still look like a high school teenage punk if you're smoking dope all day long when your CEO or whatever CFO wife, corporate wife, doesn't do drugs. Like some of you guys got to think about the basic shit. You know what I mean? If you've got an intelligent speaking partner, okay, and you're playing video games, huh? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have to think about all of these problem number 1s that are going on. And then some of them start to get stupid big. Now, fast forward. Oh, wait, before I fast forward, there's a reason why. So we have husband and mine, wife and Kathryn's, and a reason why they're normally not. It's also better if your partner doesn't know about the program because then there's unnecessary expectations. See, you shouldn't have been doing all these problem number 1s. I won't list them all. You understand what I'm saying? Hopefully. You think that's clear, babe?
I think so.
Okay. So now, if I know Kathryn, and we know this, guys, because we did lots of programs, lots of coaches, lots of books. If you always have books lying around and your wife sees it, it's a communications book, and you trash talk her, okay, she's going to
hold you accountable or vice versa.
Yeah. Okay. Problem 1. Okay. George, his wife, I think even paid for the program.
Paid for his program.
Yeah, I'm pretty darn sure, if I recall.
She did.
And so then that's not working because George is continually doing problem number 1. Now, don't get me wrong. George took care of so many problem number 1s. So many. But something that people forget when they say they've tried everything is they probably didn't try everything. Point proven when it's delivered in a nice little box. Okay. Well, an app. But anyway, And you just have to go through, follow the steps, just like it says. Okay. All the problems, number ones, go away. And then all you have to do is show up and beat problem number 2. Okay. That's it. Hopefully everybody's following. You think it's clear?
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't do that. George doesn't do that. George likes to go on the roller coaster. Things are good, but then, man, I planned a date and she didn't want to have sex. So things are bad. He doesn't realize he has to beat problem 1 for a while. You have something you want to have?
Yeah, I do. So enter Susie into my program.
Okay. Yeah.
Interject.
Mm-hmm.
So Susie was recognizing that as her husband, George, reminds me of Peppa Pig, George. Can you tell we have toddlers? As he was making all this progress, she still was feeling bitter and resentment. And when I talked to her the first time, I said, you can't be acting this way and not supporting your husband. If he's making these changes, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. You need to be taking responsibility for your own stuff. She wasn't really ready because he was quite lost when he found you. And she didn't have, I think, she had a high level of self-awareness, but I don't think she had the self-awareness that she does today. So when she came into my program, she was recognizing she's getting triggered by things. She's losing her cool. She's blaming. She's not taking responsibility. And she said, okay, I've realized that I'm not maybe being the best support for George. So I need to do what I can. And so she started to do what she could do. Now she's still working on maintaining her composure. She's, still getting very triggered because what's happened now is now that she's in the program, he has regressed.
Yeah.
And so she's acting in a way that she shouldn't be acting towards her husband. He then regresses even further. She tries to get it together on her side.
Essentially, you've got problem 1s just building up and building up and building up. And so what do you have here when somebody wants to end it? Guys, whether you're in a program or not, okay, this is the normal comfort and complacency, especially when you know your partner, those expectations, okay, they're doing their job, okay, they're following through, you're holding them accountable, whatever.
He's using air quotes for those of you that are listening on the podcast.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's why I'm doing the pause.
Yeah.
So when you start doing that, you put these expectations on your partner and then you get comfortable. It can actually be worse. Now, I don't believe that happened to us. We got a little bit nasty with each other, right? You should do this. We also did that a little bit when we started coaching. I've heard you talk to your clients, blah, blah, blah.
It's natural.
It's natural.
It's
Yes,
natural.
It's natural to mess this up.
That's why we also want you to learn from our example, because even though it's natural, we still should not have done that.
That's right.
I should not have been calling him out and expecting perfection from him when I was not personally expecting perfection from myself.
That's the answer. Golden nugget.
Total double standard. And so when we work with these people, that expectation is there, it bleeds out into everything else, and then all of a sudden it causes more conflict.
That's right. So what do we do here to beat this, guys? It's simple. You focus on your problem number 1s, not your partner's problem number 1s. Always what you can do differently. And we talk about this a lot, and we're just going to keep hitting it home because we just told you we still make mistakes. We're really good at coming together right after. And like our mistakes, by the way, are nothing. And it's not because we can compare it to the old freaking bomb attacks. Okay. It's because we just have our shit together.
We've done the work.
Yes. And it's
turnaround time is very quick. We have a lot of repairs that we can make, and it's just easier now.
That's right. And there's so much freaking love now. It's not hope. It's true love. And so it just makes it so much stronger. In order for you guys to do that, I want to give you a couple of tips before we go.
1 second.
Okay.
One of the reasons that we can have such a quick turnaround time, though, is because we both wholeheartedly, we still blame, but we blame ourselves.
Well, and we can slip. It's easy. It's natural, guys, to become defensive. It's natural to want to put somebody else into the fault, right? To guilt throw, to shame dump, all these things. It's natural. But it's how you do it, how long it goes on, and how quickly you come back.
And reflect on yourself. I always tell my women, it's not your responsibility to come in with heavy correction. So if he does something wrong, I want to support him. He's going to he knows that he did something wrong. I don't need to tell him. I'm not his mom. It's not my responsibility. I need to think about, what am I doing in that situation? Did I antagonize him? Did I trigger him? Did I speak disrespectfully to him? If he spoke disrespectfully to me, then he's going to reflect on that. But if I started it, and I don't mean the whole who started it, you should think that you started it. Because when you should
always just look at it like that.
Because that is how you're going to be able to repair it, by saying, what did I do or what could I do to make things easier? Now, that's why we recover so quickly.
Now that won't work for all of you right now. right? If you think about it, you're listening to this because you want more, and it's not necessarily going to be that easy, right? What could I do differently? Well, they're not going to come back and reflect. I mean, that's going to be the obvious one in your relationship. Well, if I, do the best that I can, he or she is not going to come back and reflect. Yeah, they will if you show up with the example. Okay, they have to. It might not be today. We tell our kids this all the time. Well, they hit you. That's what they say. Well, she hit me. He hit me. Whatever. What does a leader do, right? And if you're leading with kindness, eventually nobody wants to hit you. You're the fucking nice one. Okay, so you have to just sort of treat this the same way. Now, what can you do practically? First things first. If you get a book, course, coach, certainly double check that you're doing the same thing. I give my guys a scorecard. We have ways to track things, multiple ways to track things besides talking through it. Then you still have to take it home. If you don't have ways to track it, make one. Spreadsheet, list on your phone, note. I don't care. Tell your partner. There's a golden nugget. Now you have to do it. Okay. From there, do what somebody says if you pay them. Fucking do it. The things that transpired for her to be done now in the last, I think, week. No, I guess it's almost 2 weeks now. Like the amount of calls that I've had this guy calling him out, spending the time with him, going, you can't do that. Whoa, we talked about this. Why did that happen? I don't know. I'm in a low. I was just in my emotions. Well, this time his emotions marched him on out the door with a bunch of his fucking shit. And we can't necessarily get behind that. Not after the work that we've done and the work that his wife is doing. She's going to have to put in different boundaries now. And we don't like boundaries, people. If you don't, go listen to some more episodes. There's a better fucking way. But sometimes she's done.
Yep.
Title of the show. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.